Now, what makes K2Cr2O7 such a good strong oxidizing agent? It is because K2Cr2O7 is rich in chromic acid, that is CrO3. Okay, we can see here CrO3, two molecules of this is present in one molecule of K2Cr2O7. You can see here Cr2O3 it is. So, Cr2O3 is present in K2Cr2O7, two molecules. Now, there are two types of bonding observed in this molecule of K2Cr2O7. It is the ionic bond with the K plus ions, and then we have a bridging bond. Over here you can see between Cr, O and C. Besides, you can see many single bonds and double bonds. Now, how these bonds are, what are their nature, we will learn later. In the next slide, you will see that the structure can be seen to have 6 identical CrO bonds. Obviously, we can predict that these bonds are mostly coordinate covalent type or simply covalent type because they are going to show resonance, and because of this resonance we are having equivalent nature of bonds. Now, the geometry in the chromate ion is tetrahedral. The crystal structure is triclinic. So, we have the crystal parameters A not equal to B, not equal to C, alpha not equal to beta, not equal to gamma. This is the structure of K2Cr2O7, one molecule of K2Cr2O7 rich in 2 Cr2O3 molecules. Next, we see now the chemical properties. Here we will see that K2Cr2O7 reacts with HCl and it gives us Cl2, CrCl3 and water at high temperature. With Ki, it gives in 10% acidic medium, iodine is obtained. Chromium 3 sulfate as well as potassium sulfate is obtained. We can break down the reaction into steps and see how Ki is first oxidized by one of the oxygens liberated by K2Cr2O7 in acidic medium to give me I2, and then there are 3 such nascent oxygens liberated. So, 3 of them, to get those 3 oxygens we need to multiply this whole equation with 3, and then we have to add the 2 equations 1 and 2, and finally we get K2Cr2O7 plus 6 Ki plus 7 H2SO4 giving you 4 K2SO4 plus Cr2SO4 thrice, 3 I2 and 7 moles of water. Now, in the reaction with SO2, you can see here SO2 reacts with K2Cr2O7 and gives a green colored solution. So, the orange red color of K2Cr2O7 has now converted to green color solution. Why is it so? Because of the formation of Cr2SO4 3. And what happened to H2 over there? We have to balance that H2. That H2 has got liberated. Now, this is actually a reaction which is used to check whether we are having SO2 gas in our reaction mixture. That's all. Now, the color change is a very good observation to indicate SO2 gas is present. Again, you see this is a redox reaction. The reducing agent is SO2 gas. Oxidizing agent is acidified K2Cr2O7. Oxidation number of Cr changes from +6 to +3, which means it has been reduced. Then what has got oxidized? SO2. Okay. Now, reaction with H2S gas. Again you will find that here also the solution turns green, and the nascent oxygen released by acidified K2Cr2O7 reacts with H2S to liberate sulfur. It simply removes sulfur from H2S, and that sulfur gets precipitated as solid sulfur, while the solution turns green due to formation of Cr2SO4 3. In this reaction of H2S and acidified K2Cr2O7, sulfur should be precipitated as a yellow mass, but that color is just covered by the green color of Cr2SO4 3 solution. Next we see the reaction with FeSO4. Again, this reaction can be studied in steps. We can say FeSO4 reacts with H2SO4 to give me Fe2SO4 thrice. But how? Suddenly it can't form Fe2SO4 thrice. That oxygen which is liberated by acidified K2Cr2O7, which is present in the solution of FeSO4, is going to react with FeSO4 and convert Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus. What is the net reaction then? You are having Cr2O7 plus H2SO4, and you are getting here K2SO4 plus Cr2SO4 thrice plus Fe2SO4 thrice and water. Then K2Cr2O7 in acidified condition reacts with ethanol and oxidizes it to acetic acid. Chromium sulfate is obtained along with K2SO4. That's all. These were the reactions of K2Cr2O7.